On this episode of The Common Constitutionalist, I'll be discussing the new dirty word, anchor babies, and what's the big deal. Some say the challenge for the GOP regarding Obamacare is to replace it with something else, something even better. And could Google actually determine the next election? Today, on The Common Constitutionalist.
You're listening to The Common Constitutionalist, broadcasting from an undisclosed location, free from the prying eyes of establishment black helicopters.
So it seems everything that Trump has to say lately ends up in some sort of bloody controversy. A lot of it has to do with illegal immigration. Matter of fact, I guess most of it has to do with illegal immigration, as it should be, because it's a big dadgum problem in America. It's one of the biggest problems we've got, domestically at least. So first, if you recall, it was that the drug dealers and rapists are coming across the border, and that everybody mistook Trump for saying that everyone who comes across the border who's Mexican or Latino is a rapist or a drug dealer. Now, some of them are murderers, too. No, but seriously, now the next thing, the big thing is anchor babies. Somehow that is derogatory. It's not politically correct, which is exactly what Trump is politically correct. And frankly, he thrives on this kind of stuff. Every time these people make a stink about something, Trump throws it back in their faces, and he ends up going up in the polls like, 4, 5, 6 points. They should understand that if they stop giving this guy so much attention and stop badgering him every time he says something that's politically not correct, that just shut up about it, and maybe you'll start to slide down the polls and you'll get the guy you want or something. But it's the same formula over and over. Trump says something they think is foolish. Trump says something that they believe, both the establishment and the left of the media, whatever, it's all the same at this point. They say, oh, geez, we got him this time. He's sunk himself, it's the last nail in the coffin, whatever cliche you want to use. But it ends up backfiring on him every single time. And Trump just gets more and more popular. In Alabama, what did he draw? 40,000 people or more? When was the last time you had a candidate draw 40,000 people or more that weren't paid to go? I mean, really, this, it's going to be to the point where Trump is so popular that stadiums, I don't even know where you're going to go to. The Rose Bowl holds 105,000 people or something like that. I don't know where you're going to go to hold all these people. And the more supposed stupid stuff he says, the more popular people get, because they're angry and they just want to defend the guy. So now it's this big anchor baby thing, and now the press is all up in arms, and the first thing they do, which is, it's so typical, you could make book on it, is they go and they run away and they scatter all over the countryside looking for other Republican presidential candidates and ask, oh, what do you think about Trump's anchor babies? Oh, isn't it bad? Oh, it's terrible. What do you think? What should we call it? Should we call it this or that? Or is anchor babies okay? Are you as evil as Trump is? Oh, no. That's basically what it is. It's all a bunch of gotcha crap. But at any rate, here's what some of them said. Governor Bobby Jindal, whom I really like, but I don't like this. He said, let's see, what's he say? He told Fox News on Thursday that he's happy to use the term to describe U.S.-born children of undocumented immigrants, that he doesn't have a problem with using U.S.-born children of undocumented immigrants. Who's going to say that? It's just a collection of nonsensical words. It's such political correct bullcrap. Nobody's going to say that. Anchor babies is what should be, I don't care what you use, if you want to use this term or whatever term. Of course, course, Hillary had to chime in and say that she tweeted, they're called babies. That's hilarious, frankly, coming from Hillary Clinton or anyone on the left with their support of Planned Parenthood, and they're going to say that anchor babies are simply called babies. What about the babies that are being torn out of the mother's wombs and being sold off for parts like some 65 Buick or something like, I don't even know, whatever. But at any rate, she's just got no brains. She's just got no courage. She's got no brains. She's got nothing going on for her. Mark my words. Just like Trump said at the rally in Alabama with his 40,000 or more followers, he doesn't think she's going to make it to the gate. I've been foretelling this since it started, that Hillary's not going to make it. And it's not because she's not a good politician. It's not because she's not her husband. It's because she's rhymes with witch, and everyone knows it. She thinks she's deserving of what she got. She hasn't done a darn thing in her entire life other than criminally, put it that way. And I don't see her making it. I see the Democrats in a scramble behind closed doors, looking to unload her, so to speak. Just trying to find another guy to plug and play, so to speak. All right, so who else chimed in on this thing? Marco Rubio apparently took a softer stance. When asked about the term anchor babies on Thursday, he replied, "Those are human beings." Well, of course they're human beings. They're not Martians. They're not hippopotami. Is that a word? Hippopotami? I think it is. I don't know. Whatever. But they're not them. They are babies. They are humans, right? He says, and ultimately they are people. Well, if they're humans, they're people. Brilliant, okay? They are not just statistics. They are human beings with stories. Yes, I understand that, Mr. Rubio, Senator Rubio. I like you overall, but on immigration, you stink on ice. And I'm not sure I can vote for somebody who's this soft on immigration, who's this politically correct on immigration. We're past that. We are way past that. And may I remind everybody out there, again and again and again, I am not a Trump guy. I'm a Ted Cruz guy. I'm a dyed-in-the-wool Ted Cruz guy. And until he falls on his sword or he does something so out of character, he's the man. He's not right on every issue. He doesn't have to be. But he's right on about 90-some-odd% of these issues. He is the true, dyed-in-the-wool, constitutional conservative. Although, I must admit, he's wrong on the 14th Amendment thing, this anchor baby nonsense. The birthright citizenship crap. I wrote an article last week about this birthright citizen stuff. I wrote 2 of them. In the first one, I said, and again, it was my fault. I didn't go back and read my Constitution, of which I've got about 25 copies laying around the house, and I'm staring at one right now, and I didn't take the time to read the 14th Amendment, it would take about maybe 15 seconds to read the passage you need to read if you are a slow reader. So I agreed that originally, in my original article last week, the first one, I agreed that you can't just deport the anchor babies because they're citizens. And my second article, I ate some crow and admitted that I was in fact wrong. I went back and read the thing, and that is not what it said. And then I read what Mark Levin, who is my go-to guy on the Constitution, even more so than my man Ted Cruz. If it was between Ted Cruz and Mark Levin on the Constitution, sorry, Senator Cruz, I'm going with Mark Levin every time. That's just the way it is. And in case, let me refresh everybody's memory here. or recollection in case people don't remember what the 14th Amendment says. It was Section 1, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof. That's the key right there, folks. Are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. Without and subject, not are subject, and subject to the jurisdiction thereof. Why is this so important? Well, the guy that actually wrote the 14th Amendment was a Senator Jacob Howard. He wrote it, and he actually told us exactly what he meant by it. There's no middle ground, there's no gray area that the Democrats always love, that gray area. But here it is. This is what Howard said. Every person born within the limits of the United States, subject to their jurisdiction, that meaning the states that they live in, or the jurisdiction of the United States overall, is by virtue of natural law and national law a citizen of the United States. Okay? So far, pretty clear that that everybody who is in favor of this anchor baby nonsense is right, but they are not. He goes on to say, this will not, of course, include persons in the United States who are foreigners, aliens, who belong to the, not aliens like Martians, but, aliens that come from other countries, who belong to families of ambassadors or foreign ministers accredited to the government of the United States, but will include every other class of persons. It settles the question of citizenship and removes all doubt as to what persons are or are not citizens of the United States, once and for all. So, basically, if you were an illegal alien, heck, even if you're a legal alien, if you give birth to a child within the borders of the United States, unless you, one or the other or both, are currently citizens, you ain't a citizen. Your kid isn't a citizen. Your dog isn't a citizen. And your pet hippopotami isn't a citizen. That's just the way it is. And this is what's called original intent. You've got to go back and find out what the motive is, what they meant by what they wrote. If it's not clear, you go back to the originator of the document and figure out what he meant. And this is plain as the nose on my face, which is fairly prominent. Itchy, baby. So, there you go. I am sorry, Trump's right. Everyone else, including me, was wrong. And everyone is wrong. Trump is right. He probably doesn't even know why he's right. But he is, in fact, right. And that's that. As far as being politically correct or not, it don't make no never mind to me. He's right, and that's just the way it is.
You're listening to the Common Constitution. Let the truth be known.
This I pulled out of the off the site onenewsnow.com. A pretty good site. You guys should check it out. One News Now, stringthemtogether.com. Pretty good site. Check it out. But this is it's entitled GOP Challenge Match Obamacare but Do It Better. Oh brother. Here we go. Says that Republicans face a challenge in trying to come up with plans they say are better than Obamacare. What the heck isn't better than Obamacare? It's a complete and utter disaster. Everything about it is disastrous. People can't get care. The people who can get care can't afford the care because the premiums are so high and the deductibles are ridiculous and they go up triple, quadruple, whatever I don't even know what it is, but it's absurd. And there's just nothing good about it. I said before, long before Obamacare was even passed, well, or whatever you want to call it, that if you want to look at Obamacare, if you want to look at the eventuality of Obamacare, all you got to do is look at the present day VA system, which is a complete freaking disaster and a crying shame for our veterans across the country. That's what Obamacare is. It's the VA in spades. Yeah, at times 1,000 or times 1,000,000 or times a several million, whatever. This is how bad it's going to be. It may not be that bad now, but it's going to get there, brother. It's going to get there. And for Republicans to come out and say we're going to, this is the code, and I don't like it one bit, and I wish somebody would come out and say something other than we're going to repeal and replace Obamacare. Why do you need to replace Obamacare? Why can't you just let the market take care of it? Sure, there are going to be lots and lots of people out there that need low-cost, no-cost health care, as long as they're citizens, that is. But the Trump wall will take care of that, I guess. I don't know. But Scott Walker, Marco Rubio, I think probably almost all of them are into this repeal and replace stuff. I just, that thing about the Constitution, I just read over the 14th Amendment. I do occasionally pick up the Constitution, just kind of read through it, just because it's a great document. It's an easy read, despite what everybody says. Relatively simple anyway. Makes a lot of sense, is perfectly logical when you read it. You may have to read it several times to get it, but sure, you can get it. Anybody can get it. And it says absolutely nothing about universal health care in there. It says nothing about health care in there. It says nothing about anything even close to that. There's no reason on this planet that the United States government, federal government, should be involved in a person's health care of any kind. Sure, I'm not a ghoul. There are going to be people who need the charity, okay? But the charity should come from individuals. They should come from communities. They should come from churches. We can take care of the people who can't honestly take care of themselves, and the rest of the people can at least chip in what they can chip in to help out. But medical care shouldn't be this bloody expensive, and it's going to continue to get more and more expensive as we go through to single payer or something close, or several insurance companies meld into one gymongous insurance company, which is eventually taken over. That's the Obamacare plan, by the way, is that you get insurance companies that start buying up one another, and then pretty soon, like, what was it, California or something like that I was talking about last week, where they've got, I think they have 2 or 3 insurance companies for the entire state. There's competition for you. And this guy from One News Now says kudos to Governor Walker for putting out a plan, and for Governor Rubio for outlining at least a plan of where he's going to go. Howard says, this guy Paul Howard from the Manhattan Institute for Policy and Research, director of the Institute Center for Medical Progress. Holy crap. I'd put that on a business card. He says that's the right way to approach it, and I'm hopeful that more candidates will do that in the months to come. Well, I got to tell you, I'll be looking for the one candidate that says, I'm going to repeal Obamacare from stem to stern, period. Every last word of Obamacare is going to go. We're going to put the marketplace in charge. We're going to open up every market across every state, and so insurance companies can compete like any other business for your business. We're going to allow individuals to open up medical savings accounts that roll over from year to year, and you can provide for your own health care, or companies can chip in and put a certain amount of money into your medical savings account every year, which if you don't use becomes your cash-a-rooney, and you can choose to spend it the way you like or roll it over for a rainy day, so to speak, as well as getting like a catastrophic health care plan. So if your medical savings account is tapped out because of cancer or because of some open heart surgery or something like that the medical savings account could never afford to pay for, you've got a catastrophic plan at very, very low cost that you can fall back on. Let the market decide how to deal with this. Get the freaking government out of it. You don't repeal and replace. You just repeal and let the market take care of it. That's the only way. Sure, are there going to be people that fall through the cracks? Yes, but that's part of freedom. I'm sorry, but it just is. But that's where charities come in. That's where the churches come in. That's where individuals come in. You have seen how many times in just the recent past have we seen these the Christian bakery, or the guy, frankly, the guy from Detroit who walks like 21 miles a day to work and back in the snow, uphill both ways, or whatever it is. You know what I mean. And these guys, somebody gets it into their head to start one of these GoFundMe accounts, and people pour money into these things. Americans are so generous, it's not even funny compared to the rest of the world. We will take care of our own. We'll take care of our citizens if the government would just get off our freaking backs and allow us to do that. Everybody will get care. Nobody will be denied care. And for the people who can pay, they'll pay. For the people who can't pay, there'll be a charity or some outlet or some clinic you can go to. Let the market decide. Repeal Obamacare and don't replace it with anything that has to do with freaking government. That's the Republican that I'm looking for to support.
You're listening to Common Constitution. Let the truth be known.
So I found this thing yesterday. It's pretty fascinating, and unfortunately, I printed it out, and I didn't print out where it was from, so my apologies for not giving any attribution, but I don't know who to attribute this to, so that kind of sucks a little bit. But at any rate, it says that by manipulating its search results, Google could actually decide the next election. The world's most popular search engine is so powerful, and national elections are so tight that even the tiniest tweak in Google's secret algorithm could swing the 2016 presidential election, according to Robert Epstein, senior research psychologist at the American Institute for Behavioral Research and Technology. How in the heck do these people, do they even have business cards? How do they fit all these freaking titles and all these company or institute names on these business cards? It's got to be the size of an 8x11 page or something. Any rate, I digress. So, in an op-ed on Politico, heck, might as well be op-ed on the New York Times, Politico, jeez. Epstein said that he and his team of researchers studied behavior in undecided voters who had been exposed to rigged search results. Holy crap. Okay, this is interesting. By displaying results that shone a favorable light on a particular candidate, the researchers could shift opinion towards the favored candidate. Oh, wonderful. And I'll tell you, this isn't far from the truth if it ain't the truth right off the bat here. If you ever search for something, if you've never experimented, really, English much? If you've ever experimented or never experimented with this, try it sometime. Put in a couple of words, whatever it happens to be, and see what comes up in the Google finish your sentence, algorithm. I think that's what they're talking about, actually. It's amazing what comes up. It's all liberal nonsense that comes up. It's like if you put, I've never done this, but I suppose it would be something like you put Republicans hate and then nothing else and see what happens. And it'll probably say Obama because he's black or some ridiculous thing like that. But at any rate, I guess that's how these algorithms work. At any rate, let's see what it says here. The study boosted a candidate's favorability rating by between 37 and 63% after just 1 15-minute search session. The 5 double-blind randomized studies included 4,500 undecided voters in the United States and India. India? What the heck does that have to do with anything? Okay. This is some scary stuff, man, because I guess if they wanted to, they could probably do something like this. And as I said before, Google is awash with leftists. They support every lefty function that there is, every lefty position that there is. And if they could swing this thing toward the Democrats, that's what they would do, in my humble opinion. Now, I don't know what would happen if they got caught doing something like that, or even if they could get caught doing something like that. I don't know. Maybe it's something like Hillary's email. I don't know. Or what's that lady at the IRS's email? I can't even remember her name. But the one with the cushy retirement program that should be rotting in prison by now, but she's not. But Google's response, I guess, Epstein asked Google this about this topic, and a Google spokeswoman said that the company's algorithm is designed to provide relevant answers, and rigging them to favor one view over another would undermine the people's trust in our results and company. Well, like I said before, just do a test for yourself. You, as a conservative, do a test for yourself, put in a couple of conservative keywords or something like that, and I guarantee you the first couple responses are going to be leftist. It happens every time I try it. It should happen for you. It's actually quite fascinating. Depressing, but fascinating. Epstein says that the research suggested that swinging an election was well within Google's control, considering that President Obama won the 2012 election by just 3.9%, and the 2016 polling is similarly too close to call. Well, I mean, honestly, let's not get carried away with the 2016 polling. How many times in the past who the heck was running against Reagan back in '84? Who was smoking him? Actually, even Jimmy Carter was beating Reagan back in '80, and then Reagan came back and smoked his behind. So that doesn't mean doodly squat. None of this means anything right now. We don't know who the candidates are going to be. It doesn't really make any difference now. Once they start paring down, it'll make a little more difference. But until we start getting into, say, next spring, next summer, it's not going to make a hill of beans worth of difference, because the unwashed and ill-informed never even start paying attention until, we'll say about 12, 13 months from now. About next September of 2016 is when the ill-informed will start paying attention. Not that them paying attention is going to make any difference or not, but that's just the way it is. But I thought this was pretty fascinating, that even if Google doesn't do this kind of thing, that they apparently have the technology within their algorithms, man, I cannot talk, algorithms to do such a thing. And so I guess it's just one more thing to look out for. Don't know. But that's all I've got for today. This is the Common Constitutionalist signing off. Y'all have a great day, and I will talk to you next week.